Good morning and good afternoon, folks. Thank you for joining our webinar, How MSPs Can Launch AI as a Service in 30 Days. My name is Ted Dacko, and I'm going to serve as your host today. I'm an advisor to Data, and I'm also a customer of Data, and was responsible for one of the applications that you will be seeing or we will be talking about in this particular webinar. Before we get started, there's a couple of housekeeping issues we would like to make you aware of. You're all in listen-only mode. You may please ask questions by typing them into the chat section of Zoom in the lower right-hand side, and try to answer all your questions at the end. But if we don't, we'll get back to you individually. And we do have about 4 or 5 people who have sent us questions already through email, so we'll be starting with those. Slides and the recording will be sent to each of you within 2 days, hopefully, of the webinar. So you'll have a recording and you'll be able to see all the slides that we use. And of course, if you are interested in anything you hear today, we would be very happy to follow up with you individually. Just let us know. And at the end, we'll be showing you the email address and the website and things like that. Our agenda today is a fairly simple one. We'd like to start with some introductions of our guest speakers, and then we'd like to talk about how MSPs can launch that AI service in less than 30 days. Then we're going to do a fireside chat with Denham Turton, who is a guest on our webinar today, and then we will do questions and answers. Let me start by introducing our speakers. Camille Littman is the founder and CEO of Data. He has lots of experience in both IT and building practical AI solutions, has been involved in AI since day one. He's now helping MSPs move from IT support to strategic partnerships with AI-powered services. Denham operates in the MSP database. He actively develops lead generation services using AI as a front row view into how MSPs are adopting AI and where real opportunities are emerging. So, Camille, let me turn this over to you, and I will be back a little bit later, folks. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ted. Welcome, everybody, once again to our webinar about how MSPs can launch an AI as a service offering. But out of the gate, I'm actually going to start in telling you that even though we're going to be talking a lot about AI, AI is not the main objective here. It's a stepping stone towards the goal, but the actual goal is for all of you to become a strategic partner for your customers and for your future customers. And AI, quite honestly, is just an excuse to start that conversation. And with that, I'll actually to underscore that point, this will be coming from a company that focuses on AI, but let's maybe break some AI myths out of the gate. So first and foremost, I wanted to tell you that we probably are in an AI bubble, and AI is not a magical fix to all the business problems. And probably with the progressions that we've made so far, the super intelligence is not just around the horizon. The reason why I say it is, again, not because to diminish the impact of AI. We love AI, we use AI, we recommend people using AI. But I want you to understand that the real conversation should be about how to get you as an MSP from the server room to the boardroom. And AI is the perfect reason to have those conversations. I also want to highlight that those seismic shifts in technology don't happen that often. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of this opportunity. We've seen similar things happen when cyber came to be, where a lot of MSPs evolved and started adding cyber offerings to their portfolio, thus elevating their status with the customers. We've only had a handful of other opportunities like that with mobile, with internet, or with transition to cloud. You do not want to miss this opportunity with AI, even if AI is not necessarily the end-all be-all to technology. But it's also worth recognizing that your customers and your potential customers are probably feeling the same tension, they're hearing the same hype that is surrounding AI, and they're probably quite uncertain as well. They don't know what is real, what's actually applicable to their businesses. They fear spending too much money and time on investing in something that may not play out or may not deliver the value. They're probably used to the world where new technology, emerging technology, and innovation is for bigger companies, not for them. So as they're assessing the landscape, they're probably being very careful and deciding who to trust to be in their AI partner. And this is where you come in. This is where MSPs have an amazing opportunity to become that partner. And in the most of this webinar, we're going to focus on on some practical ways of how to position you to have those conversations, both with your current customers and potential future customers. So let's begin. The first step of that journey towards becoming a truly strategic partner is understanding of your customer. And when the first step within that is to really understand their motivations. We typically see people and companies fall into one of those three major buckets when it comes to why they're thinking about using AI in their business. Some people feel the outside threat. Because of AI, it's much easier to enter certain markets that used to be highly protected in the past. The expertise is becoming democratized. There's also the gold rush like push to disrupt a lot of the businesses that historically people were not looking into. This is just because, again, the entry barriers are lowering. So some of your customers will be feeling that threat, and because of that, will feel like they need to do something related with AI. Others may feel pressure, both internal and external. Executives and leaders go to conferences, dinners, they talk to their peers, and AI is almost always at the table. There's always conversations about AI, and there's expectations that build up to keep up with the market, to be able to tell the AI story. So you'll see a set of people that are motivated by those pressures and curiosity. And then there's another set of motivations where certain people and customers will be looking at AI as an opportunity, as something that creates, levels the playing, as allows people that where maybe didn't have access to all the innovation now to be on the cutting edge. So one of the first things that you want to do is understand where your customers fall. And I wanted to give you a couple of practical examples of the SMBs that we worked with in the past that fall into each of those buckets. So let's start with Cynthia on the left of the slide here. Cynthia, an actual CEO of a respected medical research company. Cynthia is one of the world expert in this. Lots of large pharmaceutical companies trust her consulting firm to prepare documentation for reviews of when they have new drugs ready for trials. But she's been feeling a lot of pressure for new entrants into the market, which oftentimes lack the same level of expertise, but they're using ChatGPT and other AI tools to offer services, similar service at much cheaper cost. Now, granted, a much lower quality as well, but she definitely felt the cost pressure. So Cynthia actually partnered with us to build an application that allowed her to be more efficient, to use AI within her practice, but without sacrificing the quality. So that's a great example of somebody who was really motivated by the threat, but figured out how to turn it into opportunity. On the internal pressure side, Mark is a leader on the technology IT side within a mid-sized point of sales distributor. He was feeling a lot of pressure both from employees and from leaders. Leaders, again, heard tons of AI talk at conferences and from their peers and felt they need to be doing more, while employees were just looking to use tools that were available to them in their daily lives. But Mark has had this problem, how to enable that productivity without opening up the floodgates and exposing too much risk. So again, he partnered with us to tackle some of those problems. And then on the far right-hand side, we can see Michael, who's a CFO at a established reinsurance company. Michael actually tried to introduce a lot of the AI to his current company, but the industry is pretty slow. The industry is pretty slow to adapt new technology, even though it's very inefficient, very manual, and well capitalized. So it is the perfect industry to introduce AI to. So what Michael decided is to start his own separate company outside of his current employer, and he's introducing AI, taking advantage of the fact that it is an industry insider and selling his solutions to others in the industry. So your customers will be motivated by different factors. And one of your first job is to figure out what motivates the ones that you're already working with. That typically requires really embracing and understanding their business, their industry that they're operating in, what sort of disruption is it facing? Are there new entrants? How AI is being used within the industry? So you do have to do a little bit of research and groundwork. Now, the good news is that AI can actually help you with that. Because AI is really good at summarizing information, at finding relevant information. So lean on AI to become an expert within the industries that your existing customers already operate in. And then as a bonus, you should also try to embrace some of those solutions, maybe do certain pilots, try out new tech, and see how technology is disrupting those specific industries. If when you're equipped to that, you'll be able to talk to your customers and help them and figure out where they really stand, whether they're feeling the threat, where they should be feeling the threat, whether they should be looking at AI as a curiosity, or whether they should be looking at it as an opportunity. The second aspect that you want to figure out after you've assessed the motivations, you want to start assessing the fluency, AI fluency of your customers. And in here, we typically categorize people into three main categories: beginner, explorer, practitioner. So let's build up from the bottom. So the beginner is somebody that's probably aware of the AI craze, because who isn't these days? They're probably using ChatGPT for some summarization, maybe using AI mode in their browser, what have you, but they haven't really embraced that in their work life yet. Explorer is somebody that uses AI daily in their personal life, probably subscribes to multiple AI services, probably started using AI for basic processes most of the time, doing that by breaking out of their workflow, going to ChatGPT, doing something, then coming back. So doing those semi-manual processes. And then on the practitioner side, this is where we're getting into people that truly understand what AI is good and bad at. They're able to quantify the ROI of using AI for specific use cases. And those folks, they seek repeatable, differentiating ways of using AI to elevate their business, both from a fishing perspective as well as the new opportunity perspective. Now, in terms of how to know where your customers are, I mean, this is one of the areas where MSPs have an amazing advantage, a very unique advantage, because you know a lot about your customer, especially along those three main planes of people, processes, and technology. So let's talk maybe about people and technology together. Because you're already supporting your customer, and if you have a ton of information, a trove of information about them in your PSA tool, in your RRM tool, that information can help you understand both the literacy of the users as well as the technology that you're using. That data is sitting in your existing tools. And guess what? AI is really good at going through that information at large volumes and helping you to filter out those interesting insight. Similarly, on the process side, you also have an advantage, and process is also very important. Good AI requires at least semi-structured processes, semi-repeatable processes, and good data foundation, because you oftentimes work with your customers on their standards and policies and governance practices. You probably have a good understanding of where they sit on that. So, with those two things, you should be able to assess your customers' motivation and their proficiency level or fluency level. Once you have that, the next step is to map each of your customers to what we call our AI journey map. So that's a basic core blocker when you have some of the motivations on the bottom and some of the fluency levels on the side. And this is really a starting point to figuring out how to guide your customers. Because honestly, wherever the customers will start, your goal should be to get them to the top right corner when there are a practitioner that looks as the AI as something that's an opportunity for them to elevate their business. You do want to map all of your existing customers individually because they will start in different places, and you will guide them through this journey individually as well. Different people will have different paths through this, and you do want to reassess and reevaluate regularly to make sure that they're progressing towards that future land, towards that top right quadrant. On this, I also wanted to take a quick moment to mention that you should beware of something that I'm calling AI theater, and we're going to get into that in a minute. This is that false sense of accomplishment that you can say is like, hey, I'm already doing AI. Do I need to keep on pushing? The short answer is yes. And let's dive deeper into that. So AI theater is that state when you're feel like you have cosmetic progress. It feels good, but it really doesn't drive that real value. Some examples, and you might find some of these controversial, include helping your customers setting up AI governance and policies. Helping them to deploy Copilot or ChatGPT, or even some ChatGPT powered processes, as I mentioned. When you do something in your tool, then you step out to get something done in GPT, and then you bring it back into your workflow, or even deploying custom GPTs or using in-app AI, even in your own PSA or RM. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be doing these things. These are great starting points, but don't stop there. These things, they're not the ultimate goal. All these things, they do provide value, but it's not the transformational value that your customer truly seek and need. Generally, when you deploy, when you provide services like that, or where you help your customers embrace these sort of level services, it will be difficult for them to quantify the exact impact on the business. There might be, this person gets 5% efficiency, that person gets 10% efficiency, but it will not add up to something that will make a truly transformational impact, and will quite honestly be underappreciated with time. And there will be companies, there will be people that will be taking a step farther, that will move towards more of that AI native approach, and you'll be leapfrogged with them if you allow yourself to get stuck on that intermediate level. So true partners definitely embrace those ideas as a starting point, but they make sure to move on from them. And on that note, I also wanted to take a deep dive into why not just use ChatGPT. I'm sure this is one of the things that you both tell your customers or you hear from your customers. So I wanted to, at the high level, talk about what, in my personal opinion, makes up a truly value-generating AI solution. And I would say that it comprises of three things. First, you want to make sure that your AI uses the right context. Second, you want to make sure that your AI works in a trustworthy way. And third, you want to make sure that it's accessible where the user is. So let's break those down. AI requires context to be grounded in truth. So, as some of you may know, AI is really a text generating machine, at least the large language models that are talked about as the main component of AI these days. No matter what you ask it, it is likely it's gonna give you an answer that sounds like the correct answer. One of the best practices is to root it in your information and make it really native, so that the AI engine has access to that information easily. You do not want to be using copy-paste approaches in here and giving all of your background. You probably understand how data privacy and controls are critical at this phase. The middle piece of a successful AI solution is around creating AI that you can truly trust. And here in the slide, I'm using a quote that's taken directly from the ChatGPT. If you open ChatGPT on the very bottom, on pretty much any chat tool, to be honest, at the very bottom, there will be a version of the statement. AI can make mistakes. Check important information. This is a big challenge with a lot of the AI powered tools that especially comes to light when you start doing things at scale in a repeatable way. A lot of tools that take AI to the next level behind the scenes implement tons of controls and methods to eliminate that problem. There's things like using multi-models to validate the information, retries, confidence measuring, and things like that. Also, a very important part of building a successful tool is evolving and tracking prompts, and how changes in prompts impact information, not only the new one, but how do they impact information that was extracted in the past or that was produced in the past. So that's second piece, building AI that's really trustworthy. Typically, you cannot accomplish that at scale by simply using ChatGPT. And then last but not least, you want to make sure that the tools that you offer to your customers are natively embedded into their workflows. I think probably a lot of you are seeing lots of news in these days talking about Copilot, how it's failing to live to expectations, and how the adoption drops off after some time, after this initial phase of excitement, how most companies see that the adoption of those tools fails. One of the biggest problems is that they're not natively embedded into the workflow. You got to break out of your workflow, you got to go into the Copilot tool, get something done, get back to your workflow. Now, once you start embedding some of that technology into the tools, that becomes much more successful, like, for example, in the Excel use case. So that's the third component. So as you're thinking about building that roadmap for your customers, just keep in mind that you do want to get all the way to that right-hand side and don't stop on the intro. Now, how to get to that top right quadrant where your customers feel like they're a practitioner and AI is exciting for them as an opportunity? Well, you will want to use different strategies depending on where they start. At high level, we suggest having at least three or offerings are built around three main strategies: educate, prove, and innovate. And you want to tailor the strategy that you start with for a customer to where they are on our 9 blocker. Well, let's dive deeper into each one of those. So first about educate. So the whole objective of educate is to help customers have that shared understanding of what AI is good at and what it's not good at, reduce fear and confusion, and establish a common language. So this is where you will need to bring some credibility to the customers. You will need to understand their industry context. You absolutely need to have some training materials that you walk through, you want to walk through them, because at the end of this phase, you want your customers to shift from asking, what is this AI? What does it really mean? To, okay, where should we apply it? Some of your customers will absolutely require that as the phase step. Now, we also want to make sure that you don't start with that way with every customer, because if for some that are a little bit higher on the journey, you probably want to, that will not sit well if you start with the things that they already know. But here's an example of how an AI training and awareness offering can work with, or how can you can start one if you partner with somebody like Data. So, part of our offering, when we work with MSPs, we give them access to all of the training that we've developed over the years. For example, this content that you're looking for is something that MSPs that we work with get, but we also offer training around good and bad use cases for AI, or how other SMBs have leveraged AI. We also have some more practical or technical trainings around the history of AI, different types of AI, also how to launch AI at scale in production-ready scenarios. And every MSP that works with us gets a free session from us to help them figure out the right strategy. They also can use us to train their customers directly, but most importantly, they get full access to all of our materials and our behind-the-scenes support to become the actual trainer. So kind of train the train model. And all of it comes from a company that is a trusted partner. We've been doing this, as Ted mentioned in the intro, for decades now, both on the IT side and on the AI side. Actually, just to brag a little bit, AI ChatGPT was doing this year in summary very recently. And one of my personal stats was that I was in the 0.001% of first ChatGPT users worldwide. So we've been literally doing this since day one, and we've already deployed solutions across 7 different industries and 3 continents, so that we can help you bring that level of credibility to your customers as well. All right, let's. One more point on maybe example on some of the content that we see often resonate with people that are still trying to figure AI is around helping them to understand good and bad use cases. Because the internet and LinkedIn and everything today is just filled with people that will tell you that AI is great for everything, but it's not actually true. The reality is that there are certain things that AI is good at and certain things that it's not good at. As we mentioned earlier, it's really text prediction machine that sometimes will confidently lie to you. Sometimes will give you inconsistent answers, right? That will sound similar, but will be different every time that you ask, just like a human would. And it can be lazy. Now, the good news is that AI also brings some amazing capabilities that our existing technology, existing information technology, always struggled with. So dealing with unstructured, irregularly structured data, synthesis of text, aggregation of text, and even analytical skills, if broken down correctly. So it's really important to know when to use AI versus where to lean on other technologies, because that's how you develop the really good solutions. And there's a lot of best practices that you can learn how to use it better. So this is something that we always find resonate with a lot of our customers as well. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the proving, how to prove to the customers that maybe have the basic understanding of AI. And when you're putting together your prove offering, you want to be able to help customers demonstrate the value of AI with quick pilots. This is where use cases, right? Inspiration of what have worked for others in the past, but also starter packs, especially because all of us are working with SMBs. They don't have time for huge projects that take forever to return to value. They want to see something quick. They want to try, they want to assess, they want to evolve. You want to help them to measure the results, and you want to help them to make those decisions quickly. If something is not returning the promise that they want, you want to pivot to something else. And this is another area that we at Nefer Data make much easier because we offer an ever-growing suite of pre-built apps that are powered by AI. So today we have 10 or 11 applications like that. On the slide, you see six of them, and I'm quickly going to cover only a couple. But it's what's also worth knowing that this list is always growing because as we work with certain customers, we incorporate those learnings into our pre-built apps. So the entire ecosystem benefits as more people embrace them. One of the most popular apps that you'll probably hear a lot about is around customer support. So almost every company needs to deal in with customer questions, support tickets, oftentimes after hours. That can impact your customer satisfaction. We have pre-built solutions that can be deployed very quickly, almost instantly. Another application that I'll mention is around legal pre-check. Also, a lot of small companies don't want to have high legal costs for every time that they need to deal with legal documents. We can help to make that much smoother. And then maybe the last one that I'll quickly mention here is the proposal assistant. Actually, this is one of the applications that we're seeing more and more MSPs that work with non-profits, especially embrace, as it allows you to create proposals with little effort, right? So all you have to do is upload RFPs, the rubric, maybe a white paper template, and some of your information about your company, like your decks or patent applications, whatever you have, and AI can help you write that in a secured way that actually matches the expectations and optimizes your chances of winning. And let's keep on moving. Let's talk a little bit about the innovation. So some of your customers will, once the customers have established and understand and see the benefits of AI, you will want them to move to that ultimate phase when they're innovators, where they become using AI to really position their company in a different way. In this case, you will need a ton of flexibility. You will need to be able to help them to build solutions that are truly tailored to them, truly personalized. So you will need to be able to connect to a lot of the tools that they're using. You'll need to be able to build the workflows that are specific to them. You will need to package it all with great AI and then provide support and change management around it. This is another place where Nefer Data can help you because within our platform, we offer different ways of building those custom solutions. We do have no-code builders, so really drag and drop style where you can automate basic processes. We also have a rich suite of APIs that are there for more complex use cases. And we're building a natural language-based kind of vibe coding-like interface to build those solutions in a trustworthy way from pre-existing, well-validated solutions. And it's also worth mentioning that solutions that you build with Nefer Data, either yourself or by partnering with us, because we support that model as well, can be your own intellectual property. So they can be white labeled, they can be resold, and can become something that is just part of your standard offering. Oops, sorry. And also, what is important in this phase is you want to make sure that you have a single platform that supports your customer through all their entire journey. So in the case of Nefer Data, the customers don't need to re-platform as they're moving from one stage to another. So within the same platform, you can have the standard application, but you can also have the custom experiences. So it's not that as I mature, I don't have to change the foundation of my journey. And to close off this kind of the idea of the map, I wanted to give you an example of how AI can feel for a customer when they go through this journey. So at one point, we partnered with Becky from Atlas Wholesale Food Company, and really they started in that curiosity beginner phase. They barely knew what AI was when we first started working together. Today, their CEO is considered an expert within his industry on AI and is giving talks and participating in panels. But when we started, we really had to work on the educate aspect. Then we started looking at some simple ways to win with them, and that happened to be the invoice use case, where they used AI. That maybe you noticed there was an app mentioned, Invoice Manager. That's exactly what they use to find information from invoices buried in the emails. But that really what's the exciting part is eventually the light bulb came off. And every time I speak to Becky now, is she has new ideas of where AI can help their business. Their small business that needs the operational efficiencies to grow, and it's just so rewarding to be working with them and seeing how they went through that journey from starting with beginner all the way to somebody that's using AI as a differentiator for their business. All right, so now that we kind of established that in order to have an AI offering, you're probably going to need strategies and solutions around educating, proving, and innovating. Let's talk about how to go to market with that. And I want to reemphasize that this is absolutely the right time to be doing this. SMBs, which are probably most of your customer base, are make up more than half of US GDP and jobs in the private sector. It's a huge industry. But if you look at the technology spend of SMBs, it's just over a third, right? Yet, if you talk to the business leaders, majority of them have already seen productivity gains from leveraging AI or expecting them. So why is that there's gap? I think in many ways, SMBs are still thinking that not all innovation is for them. That used to be the case, but AI is really leveling the playing field. The cost of developing vertical solutions, vertical SaaS, has never been lower. Software development cost is going down. It also creates this opportunity to create ultra personalization at scale. So SMBs are no longer tied to that big box software that requires million to do to invest in and costs a lot. They can start using solutions that are tailored to them. And that's the first time that this is possible in the history. So this is the right time for folks like you to help to bridge that gap. And to efficiently get to the market, we recommend starting with your own existing customers, as I probably said a couple of times already. So you will want in those first two steps to really understand the verticals that you're already familiar with, figure out what are some of the recurring problem, and maybe with some pilot customers, establish the initial offering and establish the initial proof of value. And only when you have done that, that's when you want to think about expansion into future customers and other verticals. So when you're designing an offering, we recommend that you consider what SMBs are already thinking about and tailor it to that. So first, a lot of them will probably be wondering if AI is even for them. You want to provide that clear guidance, prioritization, and some of the recommended first step. And you also want to provide them a simple and easy way to onboard and get to the value quickly, just like we were talking about, for example, the pre-built apps. You want to be offering something that can evolve as they expand, as they get smarter. You probably also want to keep the offering pretty simple. And I'm using this, what's a token? I've been in this space for a long time, and I probably still struggle to intuitively understand how many tokens something will cost to process. So you want to keep the cost pretty transparent and simple for your customers. And then last but not least, keep in mind that your customers will not be looking just for solution, they will be looking for partners. So they want somebody that can pair the long-term inspiration with practical step-by-step path for today. Now, once you've established that, and when you're ready to scale, you'll need additional components as with scaling almost any other service. So now we're getting into the more traditional marketing approach and go-to-market approach. You will want to define your target audience. You will want to have reference customers that can help you establish credibility in the industry. You will need a mechanism to generate leads and then execute on those leads through sales motion. And you'll most likely need some partners to help you scale. And as we're getting close to time, I wanted to share a couple of last things. So first, also an example of how this AI service, AI as a service offering, can lead to tangible impact on your top line in not the longest of time. The easiest way for you to start generating revenue is just by reselling solutions such as Nefer Data. Just on that, just based on the pricing that we offer to MSPs and the discounts, you can be generating thousands of dollars per customer. But the real value is when you start delivering outcome-based services. When you help your customers to see the value that they're getting from the AI, you can charge way more. When you start delivering projects, or even eventually when you start moving into that managed intelligence provider and state, when you're using all the information that the AI tools are generating to help the customers continuously improve their operations, you can unlock even higher margins. And before we go into our conversation with Denim, I wanted to quickly summarize. So, a couple of things that they should take with you. So, first and foremost, your customers are on this AI journey, whether you like it or not. They will be looking at AI, they will be exploring how to use AI. You have an opportunity to lead that for them. You do want to start with your existing customers. You have some advantages there that position you uniquely to help them to generate impact and to establish your own credibility that you can then later use as a springboard to even greater things. Probably you will want to use your network and MSP community. This is one of the amazing things about MSP industry, that it's such a great and vibrant community where people are willing to share and make introductions. Lean on that. You don't have to be an AI expert to have an AI practice. You can partner with companies like Nefer Data and then grow into more of an internal capability as well. And as you're working on that, keep in mind that the upside is at the top right-hand side of the journey. It's the value is when you get to those truly value-generating AI services. That revenue compounds and your relevance increases as you start shifting towards delivering outcomes, not just technology, not just solutions. And last but not least, now is your moment to start. And this is very rare opportunity to move from that server room to that boardroom. And trust me, other people are moving as well. So you want to get started today. Now, before we go over to our conversation with Denim, I wanted to give you everybody that's here a quick sneak peek of another application that we're about to release that ties nicely into everything that we talked about today. Let me just play it. So we are about to release an application that is called Path to AI. This application operationalizes a lot of this techniques or a lot of the framework that we talked about. So with the help of Path to AI, all you can do is just type in some basic information about the customer that you're working in. We're using a fictional company here. And then our AI will go crawl the internet, will find online signals, scroll social media. We'll also look at comparable peers and figure out what might be the motivations of your customer. Based on you can obviously modify this information. And then the application will natively connect to your PSA RMM, look for those signals around their fluency. So it will figure out whether they're already using some AI in their stack, what are some of the main problems that are running into. And based on all of that, both of information about their fluency as well as about their motivation, AI will design a customer or client discovery plan that you can go to them with and say, like, okay, based on everything that we know about you, we believe this is where you are. And here are some of the areas that we think you can take advantage of using AI. And this application will be coming in February 2026. And I wanted to officially extend an invite to all of you to join the early access program for that. If you would like to get access to the application and you would like to help us shape it and iron out the details, please reach out to us. We'll share contact information at the end of this slide, at the end of this presentation, and you will be able to use this application with your customers for free, for 1 month for free. All right. I think that is the everything that we wanted to cover for the webinar portion. Now we're going to go into a conversation with Denim, who kindly joined us, as you heard from Ted's introduction. Denim is the perfect person to be talking about how MSP should be thinking about AI because he runs MSP database. He also uses AI in his other practice, which is mostly lead generation for MSPs, and he works with a lot of MSPs and customers that are looking to buy MSPs. So, Denim, welcome to our webinar. Hopefully, you're
Thank
having a
you.
good day so far.
Yes, I am. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Fantastic. All right, so let's jump in. Denim, you run MSP database. You have profiles of thousands of MSPs there. I'm curious, from your perspective, is AI as a service something that you're seeing many MSPs already offer, or is it still rare? Is it already becoming mainstream? Where do you think we are as an industry?
Well, like you mentioned earlier, it's definitely early days as far as offering AI as a service. So now is a great time to build a foundation to provide AI services. And what I'm seeing happen a lot is the SEO queries are starting to come in. I'll just
Mm,
give a quick background about myself. I'm a full stack web developer, and I founded MSP Database about 5 years ago now. And the reason why I built it was because I've been in SEO for many years, and I never knew what an MSP was until 2021. And when I discovered the industry, I started talking to MSPs. I saw how hungry they were for leads, and that matched well with my skill set. So I built the MSP database. I started generating traffic, and I have had hundreds of discussions since that time with different MSPs. And I see AI as a huge opportunity to get in on the ground level, start building your your exposure, your digital presence for AI as a service. Because um, if you go to a lot of MSP websites, a lot of them aren't even mentioning it on their
right,
service page. So I have a few practical suggestions that MSPs can start now. Like we mentioned, this whole podcast is about having or doing it within 30 days. So definitely getting a service page about your AI offerings is a huge one because I've been to or visited many websites, MSP websites, and rarely are they mentioning it. So if you get in and start building your exposure, your presence, there's definitely opportunities out there because on the other end, there's customers, there's businesses, there's executives that know AI can help them, and they're looking for that advice. And if you, as the MSP, as you mentioned, if you already have your foot in the door, you definitely have opportunity to increase your monthly revenue, MRR, for AI services.
fantastic. Yeah, so let's go there deeper if you don't mind,
Yeah.
Denim. So you've mentioned that MSPs, some ideas where MSPs should start. You've mentioned having it listed on their website. What other tips do you have, like practical, simple things that MSPs
Sure.
could start doing like now?
Okay. I'm speaking from the perspective that I've generated thousands of leads at this point in the last 5 years for MSPs around the country. So one of the first things to do is get it on your homepage, so that when someone lands on your homepage, right there they see you offer AI, and you're doing that not just for the human visitors, but also
Mm,
the AI visitors, the AI engines. If you do a search and type in or do a prompt asking for MSPs who offer AI services in a certain city, there's rarely proper responses or
right.
suggestions. So they're going to offer mention the big ones like Accenture and Cognizant, but you want to
Mm,
be mentioned if you search for your city, whether it's in Florida or California, you want your MSPs to show up in the prompt. If someone's asking for MSP who offers AI services. So having on your homepage, having a service page that mentions the different aspects. Like one big one is security. A lot of companies are concerned about their employees using AI. There's a shadow AI where employee is at home doing work on a Sunday and they're putting in personal or client information into ChatGPT. So that's the kind of stuff that is right for MSP to take advantage of. The security aspect, workflows, being more efficient. As you mentioned, the tools that you offer, there's different things that an MSP can implement for a client. So having on your website is
Mm.
huge. One thing I suggest too is, as far as a marketing perspective, is to buy the .ai version of your domain.
Right.
I've talked to a lot of MSPs and I mentioned that, and like a light bulb goes off, and a lot of them buy it right there while we're on the call. So
Mhm.
I suggest that, if you have your domain name.com, check .ai version, buy that now. So you own it, you're protecting your brand, because the last thing you want is some other company to buy your
Mm.
.ai version. And then now that you have the .ai version, use a tool like Lovable or Replete or Cursor to build AI website that promotes your AI offering. So I see in the future, not far off, that you can have a legacy site, your .com, and then you can have a .ai site, which actually uses AIs. People can chat with it and get information from. So buying AI domain name is a good thing to do from now, so you own it. Use the tools, like that famous saying, eat your own dog food. Actually
Right.
use the tools to build a site so that when you're talking to a client, you can tell them, yeah, I've used Lovable, I've used Cursor, so you have an idea from a ground level how it all works. And so that's the two big things: getting the service page up on your homepage, mention of AI, buying the domain name, and also blog posts. There's a very
Mm.
few amount of AI, MSPs writing about AI, and that's a quick, simple way to get content up so that you start showing up for these search queries. Um, and then one more thing too is, because as you know, Camille, that AI needs content and needs data. So from now, start collecting all the sales collateral, case studies, all the type of public information that you would like AI to have access to, because that's going to be required at some point whenever you want to start promoting yourself and showing up in AI engines. You need to be able to feed them that content, right? So collect it from now. A lot of MSPs have that information all over the place. So start putting together a repository of the type of information you want AI to have access to. And that way, that will help you, again, come up in those prompts when it's time for you to promote yourself. Because that's one of the things I'm doing with MSP database. Each profile, I would like MSPs to be able to add their public available information. So when a prospect lands on their profile, they can chat with the AI engine and get specific information. And then one more thing that I always advise MSPs is to have an origin story on their website, because that helps you
Mm.
show up in results. If you show some personality, mention how long you've been in business, how you got started, that kind of information, and then mention your AI services, will help you show up in the AI engines as well. And that'll help you get to that lead generation, because everything you mentioned is from the actual execution, right? When you have a client that's interested in AI, I always look at the aspect of getting people interested in it. There's lots of people looking for it, and you want them to find you. And then if conversation gets advanced, they always have you, Camille, that they can call you in, right? They now know an AI expert, and so you shouldn't be afraid to start the conversation. So my
100%.
last suggestion is to pick three clients, as you mentioned, and start the AI conversation. And one thing too is on the discovery calls. A lot of times I see leads because I listen to calls from certain MSPs that I help. Um, and on the discovery calls, it's good to mention AI as one of the subjects to talk about, because right from the get-go, you're showing your
Right.
advance, you're differentiating yourself from another MSP, because a lot of times it's two or three MSPs they're looking at. So by mentioning AI right in the discovery call, you're setting yourself apart, and you're giving them the prospect, the lead, and ideas of how you can help them, which can end up making you the choice they go with.
Fantastic. There's some great insights, Dan. We do want to leave some time for the Q&A for the
Sure,
audience. So maybe I'll ask you one last question.
sure.
And maybe for that, let's zoom out. So we are talking a lot about now is the time for MSPs to embrace AI. But from your very practical perspective, you have a very practical view on all of this. Is it really that, right? Do MSPs, are they absolutely should be leaning on AI? Or is this something that is not as urgent and as some would paint it? Where do you think we are?
Well, I definitely think it's something absolutely they should be involved with because it's something that every company is going to be interested in, and it's very competitive already. If one company or one of your clients knows their competitors using AI or starts offering an AI tool and you haven't even discovered it or looked into it, you're falling behind. And so for now is the time. It's been was it 4 years now since going to be 4 years since ChatGPT launched. And you think of it,
November
that's a long
30th,
time.
2022.
Exactly, right? So if we're on, it's over 3 years now, and it's time to move from, oh, AI is pretty cool, look what I did with it, to actually setting your business up to create an offering that brings in more revenue. Because if you're, like you mentioned, if you're not doing it, your competitor MSP across town is, right? And definitely everyone's in the same boat. There's always new tools coming out almost every week with AI, new features. So don't feel overwhelmed. We're all in the same boat learning, but start by taking the small steps, mentioning on your website, making blog posts about it, mentioning it to leads or in discovery call. Pick 3 clients, start talking to them about it. You have to begin that learning curve. And I think you're going to be happy another 3 or 4 years from now that you made the move from today instead of waiting.
100%, just like the early adopters of cybersecurity
Yes,
benefited a lot. With that, Denim, thank you so much for participating. We're gonna turn it back to Ted, and Denim, please feel free to participate in the Q&A from the audience.
sure. Thanks.
So I'm going to start with two questions, and Camille, if you don't mind, I will answer them myself, and we'll move to some
Perfect.
questions that are better for you. Number one is confusion about are we Data selling to SMBs or through MSPs? Because we're showing examples of customers. We started as an organization marketing directly to SMBs because we wanted to get customers, we wanted to get applications, we wanted to get experience. And so that's why we have customers directly, but recently pivoted to say we will be the provider of AI technology and services to MSPs to offer to their customers. Not to say we won't sell to an SMB, but our preferred way to do this is to offer the products to you and allow and give you the right gross margins on that and allow you to offer the products to your customers. The second question is, what is the product? And there are 4 components that we want to talk about. One is the marketing support, and Denham just talked about that. We will provide you with website content, email templates, frequently asked questions, blog posts, the tool that Camille showed you, etc. The second component is training in case you need more training or people need more training on AI. Camille mentioned that in the presentation. The third component is the pre-built applications that we already have, which may plug into your existing customers without any additional work. And then the fourth aspect is that base level platform that we've built all our applications on, the AI platform, which is not a simple chat GPT, but is a full development platform, which either you can use to build custom apps for your customers, or you can have us do for you. It's up to you how you want to do that based on your proficiency. So those are some of the questions. Those are 2 questions that came in. So Camille, for you, can an MSP offer AI as a service without having in-house AI or development expertise?
Mhm. Yeah, and I think Denim, you also touched on this, but I think the short answer is yes, right? If you think about the some of the earlier earlier steps of the maturity, um, training, educational services, and some of those pre-built up, even deploying or distributing Copilot and ChatGPT. Almost anybody can start, but you also should use it as the foundation to build some of those more advanced services. And here you have 2 choices. You can build those in the house, and that might be the right path for a lot of the MSPs out there, or you can partner. with somebody like us. This is where I personally love the MSP industry because it's so community driven, right? MSPs are great at finding the right partners, at building relationships with the right partners and scaling that into their networks. So I think absolutely you don't have to be technical to get started. You may have different paths for where and different goals where you want to end up, but there's opportunities for you to get started now.
Next question is, what practical steps can an MSP take to mature their own AI capabilities before selling AI to customers?
Also, and again, then feel free to jump into to any of those as well. But I think a lot of it is using AI internally. If you want to be credible to your customers, you want to be using AI internally. And then I would love to actually hear your perspective. You didn't have a chance to share how you're already using AI, because if you're preaching AI to your customers and you're not using it internally, then they're probably not going to trust you. And there's more and more tools are coming with an API, but also platforms like Nefer make that internal innovation and optimization much easier. So starting internally is probably the right first step.
Yes, I agree
Then I'm
100%
your
that if you're going to speak to your clients about it, you should be able to tell them how, well, we implemented this tool and now we saw X amount of efficiency, or um, you could see for yourself, or I've seen already some MSPs that have AI answering their phone calls now. So that, and even I'm amazed, I listen to the calls and prospects actually speak with the AI. They get divided between sales and support, and that's an example of an MSP incorporating it themselves. So definitely look within yourself, your company, see the ways you can apply maybe the tools that Nephrodata is already offering as the first step to offering it to other clients. And again, there's always going to be different levels of knowledge, right? You might end up talking to a client that knows all about RAG and
right.
the different embeddings and all this. And so don't be afraid of that though. Everyone is at a different stage, and definitely you're on a learning curve as well. So part of the learning curve is to incorporate AI in your own MSP. It could save you money, it could increase your efficiency, and it's definitely something that there's new tools coming out all the time. So you definitely want to have a base of knowledge. So when a new tool comes out, you can take advantage of that new tool faster than your competitor.
The French have a saying, and I don't speak French, so I'll probably butcher this, but le chef mange ici, the chef eats here. In other words, we eat our own food. So good application. And this relates to our last question. What AI applications should we as an MSP be using internally to make our own MSP better?
Yeah, so what we've seen from our perspective, and again, Denim, you can add more. Uh, Two main aspects. A are actually three. So A around operations. So MSPs, one of your core advantage if you have that trove of information that sits in your PSA in your RRM, there's this talk within the industry, right? From moving from system of record to system of actions, when you want to start using that information to automatically take actions on your behalf. It can be as simple as assigning low priority tickets to different queues, or it can be more advanced, like figuring out the right technician to solve the problem based on the history and availability and all of that. End of the day, you want to move to that again, managed intelligence provider where you can look at all of that information that you're collecting about your customer and give them insights, surprise and delight them. When you can tell them things that they don't know about themselves, that's like you're starting to generate, you're shifting from moving for using AI for your internal optimization to actually delivering value for the customers. Another area that we see it, and then we probably can talk more, lead generation. So I'm not going to get into that. You're an expert, but lead generation is an area where we're seeing a lot of companies using AI. And then last but not least, also customer success and then or customer support. Then you mentioned that. So for the sake of time, I'll give you an opportunity to answer the question too.
Okay, well, definitely for lead generation, there's a lot of companies now obviously using AI to write blog posts. So I've
Yes.
seen over the years some MSPs that have the exact same blog posts as like 100 other MSPs. So check your blog post if they have If you have the same blogs as everyone else, you could definitely change that, and it's good for SEO to have unique blogs. So leveraging AI to write the initial blog, but then you can modify it from there. And there's definitely services that provide that. And as well, pick a lane. So pick a vertical. If you have a customer base that's in a certain vertical, like healthcare or defense contractors, find out what or the ways that that industry is using AI so that you become more knowledgeable and more advanced. And then pick 3 or 4 clients in that sector and talk to them and start the conversation because you're going to learn a lot just by talking as well. And you can be able to figure out how you can position your offering better. Because again, the base is that we're all learning. It's all new for everyone, but AI is powerful, and now is the time to leverage it.
Yes, and being sensitive to time here, Camille, let's thank you for everyone for joining us. You're going to receive you're going to receive a recording of this presentation and the slides. We would be happy to have you speak with us privately about your individual customers and how we could help you. So you can, there's our email address as well as our calendar way to schedule things, and then our LinkedIn profile. And the one thing that's not on here is our website. Not on here is our website, but it's neverdata.com. So you can contact us there. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. We greatly appreciate it. And we do hope that this was both valuable to you and also entertaining. Thank you, folks. Have a pleasant rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.